All right, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another Prozy video. Let me get set up here. It always takes a hot minute to get going, just because it takes my live stream a second to show up, and I gotta make sure my audio sounds good and my video feed is working. Come on, show up. But if there's anyone in the chat, just give me like an audio check, make sure it sounds all right, make sure it looks okay. And then we'll get into it. We'll get into the news for today. I haven't done a live stream since January, apparently, which is a long time ago. But if you are in the chat, let me know where you're watching from. That's always interesting to see. Audio all good. Thanks, Vibe on up. Here we go. I got it. I see myself now. Oh, looks okay. It's a bit red, isn't it? Is that too red? I look like I'm in a friggin', not a sauna, but Stephen Blay. What's that? Stephen Stefan. Let me change this lighting. I look ridiculously red for some reason. Taiwan ready to be China again? What's up, 42? I don't think it's that bad. Let me turn that lighting down, make it a little less red. That looks a little bit better. All right. No, I was watching the news today. I always wake up and I read the BBC and Taiwan news just to keep up with the times. Usually not very interesting. I don't care. Caster Rabbit says, all right, the title got me. That's bullshit, right? Nah, so stick with me for a second. So there was a soccer game, or a football game, I guess, if you're European, against Taiwan, or Chinese Taipei, as they have to call themselves. Stephen Blaze has been in the sun, Prozy. Nah, I just, my light's looking really red. I don't know why. I tried to change it to blue, but it's not really working. Why is that still on? If it's still too red, I'll change it down for you. Based, yeah. Yeah, so there was a soccer game or a football game. There, it's blue now. You happy? There was a soccer game against Chinese Taipei, which they have to call themselves for most international sporting events. I'll just call them Taiwan, because I don't care. Against North Korea, you know, that old great country, damn early to be streaming. Not in Taiwan, Derek Shrey. It's 7 o'clock at night. Yeah, it was a women's soccer game, and Taiwan lost it 4-0, kind of embarrassing. But I'll show you here. Let me get OBS working. Okay, so the title says Taiwan t-shirts banned at Women's Asia Cup on Australia's Gold Coast, okay? So you can see a picture here of some Taiwanese people, and I think one of them's their husband, I'm not really sure. And they go to this game. And this is how crazy it is, okay? Dozens of fans of the Taiwan women's soccer team were forced to remove clothing bearing the word Taiwan before being allowed to watch their team play North Korea at the AFC Women's Asia Cup on Thursday. So they have to, so they came wearing these shirts, right? So she's got one, a black one. It says, whoops, sorry, hit the wrong button. It says, I love Taiwan, welcome to Taiwan, simple black shirt. She's got like a baseball shirt. It looks like a baseball shirt. I don't know. I don't watch baseball. But yeah, it's got like a Taiwan written on the front. And this guy's got the same kind of thing. It says Taiwan, another sort of baseball shop. And they were told to remove it. So John Ivy, who was Australian, and his Taiwanese wife, Lai, that is so hard to say. I don't know how to say her name. They were denied entry because her shirt had Taiwan printed on it. Ivy and Lai had to return to their accommodation to change before being allowed into the stadium, while his own Tainan Uni Lion shirt drew no objection, which is crazy. So they had to go back to where they were staying to change their clothes. Why they had to go back, it says so in the thing, in this article later on. Because you would think, like, well, if they've got a sweater, she'll just throw a sweater on. I mean, I know it's Australia. It's probably hot. Actually, what is it in Australia right now? Is it fall, technically? I don't know how it works. It's all upside down in that place. He could... Oh, it says Taiwan under. He's got Taiwan on both shirts. But, like, you could figure, like, you just cover it up or take a layer off or something. But no. Because, there's more people. So Ivy's friend Mark McDonald and his Taiwanese spouse Jessica Lin. Man, these Australian guys are dating young Taiwanese girls. The Australian guy, John Ivy, is 46, dating a 30-year-old. That's not so bad. But this guy's 57, dating a girl 40. Impressive. Well done. They were denied entry because they wore T-shirts and baseball jerseys with Taiwan on them. Okay, so that's these people. Even after offering to turn their shirts inside out, another good fix, security warned staff that they would have to leave the premises if they did not change their clothing. So that means if they just took this off, flipped it inside out, and then can go so they can watch the game, the security was like, nope, gotta take it off. Like, how... What the fuck? Just let them in. It doesn't... If you're offended or you're worried about political blowback, or you're worried about whatever it is that you're worried about, just turn the shirts inside out. They'll look ridiculous, but at least they can go watch the game. Ivy, who's one of the girls... Oh, no, it's the guys... Yeah, it's that John Ivy guy. Estimated that approximately 50 to 100 fans were rejected by gate workers for having Taiwan on scarves or shirts. These fans were told they had to remove any clothing with the wording and hand it over to the cloakroom before they would be allowed inside the stadium. Some bought sweatshirts at a nearby shop to cover up their shirts, but were still refused entry until they placed their Taiwan-labeled clothing in the cloakroom. In response to the incident, Ivy said, "As an Australian, I am absolutely disgusted this is happening in my country." Good on ya, mate. My thoughts exactly. So that's why they had to go back to their accommodation to switch up their shirts. Because even if they turned them inside out or whatever, they still weren't allowed in to go see the game, which is ridiculous. So I suppose one of the comments got me. They said... it's bullshit. I guess Australia isn't banning, clothes that say Taiwan on it, but they weren't allowed into this game. So I'm guessing it's the sporting association, whatever organization is putting on this game, doesn't allow it. Still fucking stupid. Like absolutely ridiculous. Let's see the chat. Cujo, I don't know how to read that. 5, Prozy, what's up? I am Australian. What? This is Blind Guardian. Me too. He's going through it. Oh, it's autumn over there? Yeah, pretty huge difference in age. Says God's love be with you. Hi, Prozy, what's up? Does it state why in Australia? It's not, again, it's not, I should clarify, it's not really fair. It's not the Australian government that's doing it, I think. I hope not. That would be ridiculous. It's whatever sporting organization this is. Blind Guardian says, whoever's running that event can have whatever entry rules they like. It's in Queensland. And that's another good point, too. I guess that's worth talking about, is it's like, it is... I guess it's a private organization, right? It's not a government thing. And so you are right, technically, that they don't have to let you in for whatever reason they want to state, It could be for whatever reason. But I still think it's stupid. Like, what? I mean, I'm guessing that this organization, this event, whatever it is, I should really look into it. I don't know. I don't watch women's soccer. I don't even watch men's soccer, football, whatever. the Asia Cup is probably sponsored by China or gets a lot of money from China. Otherwise, why would they go through so much trouble? And listen, I know Australians. I know a lot of Australians. Most of them love Taiwan and they know about Taiwan. I think Australians are a little bit more, what the fuck was that? Sounded like an earthquake, but it wasn't. I think Australians are more familiar with Asia, in my opinion, because they're closer to it geographically, more so than say Canadians or Americans. I think so. A lot of them are more aware of Taiwan, and I can't. I'm having a hard time imagining the meeting they must have had before the game with the staff that work at the stadium, where you're going to tell your Australian staff that anyone wearing a shirt that says Taiwan on it, which is the country that's playing the goddamn game that you're going to go see, can't enter the stadium. And I know Australians. I know a lot of Australians. I can't imagine them not saying, like, this is bullshit. You know, like if you're sat in the meeting and you're Australian, at least every Australian I've ever known has spoken their mind. You know, they're not quiet people. They're very outgoing people. Usually everyone's different, obviously. But at least one or two of them must have been like, I'm not doing that, you know? But in Australian, they'd be like, no, no, they can wear whatever they want, mate. You know, something along those lines. I'm sure that's how the meeting went. But I'm curious because there's a lot of Australians watching right now. I'm curious what you guys think of it. For example, Blind Guardian says whoever's running the event can have whatever entry rules they like. And that's a good point. And I see where he's coming from. I still disagree with it. But I'm curious what Australians have to say. Cast Rabbit said, and we're super racist to mainland Chinese too, really. I'm in Queensland, Australia. This is Vanessa. Oh, what's up, Vanessa? I'm in Queensland and I haven't heard about this. Yeah, these things don't usually make international news. It'll be something that's in Taiwan, which is why it's on Taiwan News. They can do whatever they want, but we then have the right to call them a bunch of daft knobheads for doing it. Exactly. Yeah, that's kind of where I stand. 42-244 says it's not just Taiwan. They have a big list of flags, countries, and political things that they don't allow at these kinds of events that are on TV for international viewers. But here's the crazy thing, though, about that. Okay, if we're going to get political, if it is about politics, which it isn't, right? It's about money. You know, if they allow people to wear Taiwanese shirts to a soccer game, whatever the fuck this is, they lose China. And if you lose China, that's a ton of money, a ton of fan base, and a ton of viewers, right? So they don't allow Taiwan into these games, or at least, they don't allow the name Taiwan into these games. But who's Taiwan playing in this game? North friggin' Korea. You ever heard of them? You know, Kim Jong-il, Kim Jong-un, the whole Kim family, great guys, did nothing wrong. Fantastic place. You know, it's just one of those tourist destinations. Let's see if I can't find. Let's see if I can't find some. Just show you guys. You know, some great images here. This is North Korea. Okay. One of the greatest nations on earth, never did anything wrong. Look how happy everyone is. Okay, is my face covering up these images? It kind of is. I apologize. Look how happy everyone is. This is a great place. This woman here, you know, she's looking. Let me move my face. Look at her. Look how happy she is. It probably says, "Welcome to North Korea, everyone." Okay, North Korea is where education comes to flourish. Okay, beautiful man. Look at all these people looking up to him. Admirable. Okay, they're playing North Korea. Okay. The reason I bring this up is because while these people who are watching the game, excited to see their team play, don't know what the fuck is this image. David Bowie's daughter is one of the most beautiful women on the planet. All right, thanks for that, Taiwan News. Look at this. Okay, my face isn't covering this, is it? A North Korean fan, she looks white. A North Korean fan is allowed to bring in the North Korean flag into the game? What? But I can't wear a shirt that says Taiwan on it? Come on, Australia. Not Australia. I'm not going to blame Australia. Come on, whoever put on this event. How does that make any goddamn sense if it is political? No variation of these flags are approved. So, flags permitted at all games, Australia, blah, blah, blah. So, you can only take these flags? And what's the point of this? No variation of these. So I guess you can't alter the flags, what their point is. I don't know. But how can you allow... I'm not saying... Listen, I'm not even saying that they should ban North Korean flags. I'm just saying if it is political, I guess because North Korea is a perfect country that does nothing wrong. So, you know... Okay, let's see. Every Australian in the chat thinks it's bullshit. Probably more of a case of overzealous security guards from India. You think so? I think they had like a meeting where where everyone was told, you know, if you see someone wearing this shirt, you can't let them in, right? Because like 50 to 100 people weren't allowed in, says the article. Stephen Blay says, I'm English. It's not like they're trying to prevent Millwall or Chelsea hooligans in. I'm so Canadian, I don't even know what that means. I'm assuming that's a football thing. Bro, did you quit smoking or something? Your voice is different. I only watched him back in the China days. Were you the person who commented that I sound like a woman on my last video? People are saying like, oh, your voice is high-pitched, dainty. You sound like a bitch now. Which is a hilarious thing to say to someone. If that was you, go fuck yourself. But if not, I don't think I haven't changed my voice. I'm just getting older. I guess your voice changes as you get older, you know? I'm not a young man anymore like I was in the China days. But it's unfortunate that I lost you as a viewer. Welcome on back. Blind Guardian says, persons wearing or displaying inappropriate or unauthorized commercial, political, religious, or offensive images, logos may be denied entry or asked to remove such items. I don't agree with. But it's like you said earlier, if it's a private event, they can make their own rules, you know? So, wear what you want, but it's not surprising for them to do it. I think it's kind of surprising. In a place like Australia... Well, I guess it's not that surprising. Australia's had some pretty friggin', I don't know, questionable things when it comes to freedom of speech and all that kind of thing. And it's not like my country is much better. You know, Canada and Australia, I find, are kind of like cousin countries. They're very similar. I mean, yes, the climate is different. The culture is different. They have more mullets and utes and all of that kind of stuff. And they're funnier than us. But... a lot of our country's problems, Australia and Canada, are very similar. And the reasons we have those problems are also very similar. So like the housing crisis, both countries have it or had it. I think the Canadian housing is finally cooling off because of the tariffs and all that. At least that's what I heard. I don't know how much of that's true. And Australia has a housing crisis as well for the same reason. You know, like Australians who grew up in some of these places can't keep living there because they can't afford to buy a house anymore. It's just so expensive to live in Australia. It's fucking ridiculous. I mean, it's just for the very similar reasons. When I was in university, I studied early childhood education or child development. And a lot of our programs were hand in hand with Australia. Like the way that they do early childhood education is pretty much the exact same as we do. So we even had a lot of opportunities to go to Australia to work there just because it's the same, like the accreditation is the same. So our countries are very, very similar. So it's not like Canada's much better. Okay. There's a lot of things Canada does that's not so great. China saying that Taiwan is a part of China is what should be considered inappropriate. Yeah, exactly. You're denying the right of Taiwanese people to like be of their nationality. You know, can you imagine if I said that to like Australians? You're not Australian. You're Chinese now. You know. Vanessa says it has to be about money. Yeah, obviously. At least you shouldn't say obviously, but I would guess Vanessa's correct. Derek Shrey says, if only Taiwan was as great as North Korea, surely. I know. If only you had such an impeccable human rights records as North Korea, you would be allowed to have the North Korean flag. You could say North Korea, whatever you want. If only you were like these people, these glorious, beautiful people. Okay? If you were like this, you'd be able to say you're from Taiwan, and you could wear that flag as a t-shirt, as a skirt if you wanted to, you know. So, but you don't. You've got terrible. Taiwan's, you know, it's just not up to par. It's not up to North Korean standards. You sound exactly the same you have for years. Okay, cheers. I'm telling you, man, it's less to do with China and more to do with organizations like FIFA enforcing these kinds of rules. Same goes for Palestine flags, for example. Does FIFA run the women's like Asia Cup? I don't even know if again, you'll have to excuse me. I don't watch soccer. I don't watch football, so I don't know. I might watch the Premier League if I'm at the pub with my British friends and they watch the football. I might watch with them, but I don't know. I don't really know. Your voice hasn't changed. Cheers. Not that I care if my voice has changed. Captain Fall says, what happened to the West or Anglosphere being the last bastion of democracy and free speech? Oh, what happened to it? The idea of losing funding or being called racist against Chinese people by calling Taiwan, Taiwan. Yeah, I don't know that it's a... It's just like Blind Guardian said, it's not even really a matter of free speech. Like if I own a business and it's a private business, I can, you know, or let's say I own a bar. I don't have to serve you for whatever reason I want. I could be like, I don't like the color of your shirt. Get the fuck out of my bar. You know, like it's my business. I can pretty much do whatever I want. At least I think that's more of an American thing. But yeah, I guess in places like Canada, Australia, what have you, they'll get you for being racist. I'm not sure. I'm sure Vanessa's right. It's probably a money thing. I'm sure because they let China. Actually, let me see. Is China one of the shirts, one of the flags? Do they play in this? They do. So China plays in this league as well. And so I imagine, you know, if you look at the countries on here, China is probably the largest audience for them. And they probably don't want to lose that, you know. Save for maybe India. They got a massive population too. Okay, that was directly from their entry guidelines on their website. Blind Guardian, doing my research. Cheers, my man. Imagine turning away 100 people from women's soccer. Who the fuck? Yeah. That's a good point. Who's going to go watch the game? Like, if you look at this picture of the woman holding this North Korean flag, it's like you kicked out all the people wearing Taiwan on their shirts because obviously they're there to watch Taiwan play. And now we've got no one's there to watch the goddamn game. That's a good point. That's hilarious. You just kicked out half your fucking audience. That's funny. But if you want to, that's another good point though. Like if you want to see just how far the censorship in China will go, they'll censor stuff outside of China. Like when I lived there was loads of censorship. Like I remember when one of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies came out. I can't remember which one it was, Dead Man's Chest or something. I can't remember. I went to go watch it in theaters and it was really short. I remember leaving the theater thinking like, that felt like a TV. It didn't feel like a movie. Like there was so much, and the plot kept jumping. I was really curious. And I'm the kind of person that when I watch movies, I always go on like Reddit or go online to see what people thought of it. Just for I don't know why I do that. I like watching movies, and I like to see what other people think of it if they agree or disagree with me. And I didn't like the movie at all. And the more I read, I realized that China had censored like a huge portion of the movie for Chinese audiences, or for me, because I was in China watching it. Because I think in that movie they had a Chinese pirate or something, or someone that could have represented China in a negative way. I don't really know what the fuck they censored it for, but yeah, and it made the movie like completely nonsensical. It made it like just didn't make any sense. And so that happens within China all the time for everything. They're very careful what they show people, but even outside of Taiwan, they'll do stuff like this so that not only people watching the game within China won't see a shirt that says Taiwan on it, everyone else in the world won't be able to see a shirt that says Taiwan on it. So, you know. Stephen Blaze says, didn't FIFA give Trump a peace award recently? So FIFA is also Bellens, to quote. I have no idea. I didn't even know FIFA had the authority to give someone a peace award. I'm not sure. Blind Guardian says, someone wanted the stadium to themselves. Yeah, honestly. That's so funny. Ni hao, what's up, Mark Show? Sorry, I'm a bit behind on the comments. Again, if you ever want something for me to definitely read that I won't miss, super chats are always welcome. I'm poor, okay? I gotta work harder. I gotta make more videos, which is part of the reason I'm doing these live streams. Again, I do love a live stream. But yeah, Dima says, immigration hit and none of my friends can afford to live in their hometown. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if you're Australian or Canadian or where you're from, but in Canada, it is the exact same story. One of my buddies owns an apartment. To counter that point, though, I think recently, one of my buddies owns an apartment just across the street from the CN Tower. He's like a online security guy. I can't remember the technical term for his job. He does pretty well. You know, he makes good money, obviously. If you're going to have a house across the street from the CN Tower, it costs a pretty penny. He just recently, I think, lost a ton of money on the property value of his home because of the tariffs, the red hot costs of houses in Canada has gone down a little bit. But that's just one story. That's his story. That's just the one thing I've got. I'm not actually sure if that's true. And I'm curious if Australia is going through the same thing. Because I know in Australia, like Sydney, Brisbane, obviously this being a Prozy live stream, we got to bust open the maps. Because my Australian geography is not the best, and I cannot remember which fucking cities are. Yeah, Brisbane, like all the cities basically on their east coast, Melbourne, are like completely unaffordable. Like it's no one can afford to live there. It's insane. So if you already own a house in North Korea, you are in North Korea. Sorry, the North Korean flag popped up and I got my words jumbled. If you already own a house in Australia, I think you're fine. But yeah, Grimace and what the fuck is your name? Meh, who cares about being labeled anymore? Call us any ist or phobe you want. Doesn't matter. I guess. It doesn't matter. I don't know if it's necessarily about calling someone something. It's about that they can't wear a shirt that says Taiwan. It just seems like such a trivial matter, you know? Right to refuse service wearing specific t-shirt isn't a protected class for discrimination. No, I know that. I know, which was my original point. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised, you know, if they got caught for racism or something. I just Googled it. It's an actual thing in the Olympics too. Really interesting. I'll give him tree fitty for a CN Tower adjacent house. Yeah, I know. I've got like $5 and some blueberries I can afford a house with. Housing prices are nuts in Sydney. Yeah, I think What's the Australian city that's the most expensive? Is it Brisbane or is it Sydney? I can't remember. One of maybe Melbourne. One of them is like, it must be Brisbane because that's where the Gold Coast is. Is the Gold Coast Bondi Beach? Is that one? Where's Bondi Beach? You guys have a place called fucking Miami? Nobby Beach, nice. Yeah, one of those cities is like just outrageous. I just can't remember which one it is. I know a bunch of them are, but one of them's like the most expensive. Government doesn't even pay enough to live in the States. Source, I work for them. Shit. I'm renting in Sydney and I'm convinced I'll never be able to buy a house here. Oh yeah, no, like, dude, I just turned 35 a couple weeks ago, and like I've already come to the conclude, like I'll never ever own a home in my life. Vanessa says, I pay $800 a month to rent a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, but could never be able to buy again. That's not bad. 800 a month for a 4-bedroom is pretty good. Oh, but Vanessa doesn't live in like a major. She lives in, well, let's not dox her. But yeah, Sydney's the most expensive. Okay, Sydney, yeah. Sydney or Melbourne, probably. Sydney, yeah. Oh, Sydney is Bondi Beach. Yeah. Have you ever considered live streaming games? I feel like you'd garner a pretty stable audience with your established online presence. Dude, lately, all the time. But my channel isn't really like a gaming channel. I don't really want to, you know. I can see myself losing a lot of subscribers because my audience doesn't watch me for games. But it would be fun. It would be fun to try. But yeah, so I think, and I know my audience is biased. My audience, I think, for the most part, supports Taiwan. But I think most Australians would say that this is a load of fucking bullshit. I think these people should have been allowed to watch the game whenever the fuck they want. If this was ran by the Australian government, I would have a way bigger problem with it. Excuse me. But because it's run by like a private whatever the fuck organization that Women's Asia Cup is, I get that they're allowed to have their own rules for entry. And I can't argue with that. It's part of their freedom to run their thing. I still think the rule is fucking bullshit. If I was them, just to piss them off, like if Taiwan was playing in like Canada or something, this is how much of a badass I am, you guys, and I was wearing a Taiwan shirt and they said I couldn't get in, I would leave for a second, stuff that shirt into a backpack, go in, and then put it on and get in front of as many cameras as possible. Because what, I'm there to watch women's soccer, football. No one cares. I would literally only be going there just to piss people off. I would break the law. I would get kicked out. I don't care. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. It's 100% FIFA. So it is FIFA that runs this? I'd certainly watch a gaming channel by you. Cheers. I wonder if I did a gaming channel, if oh yeah, okay, yeah, you could just start a separate gaming channel. Maybe. Those are kind of hard to get going though. You know, like I barely have the brain power to run this channel. Like having fucking content to think of with this channel. I don't even know if I could do a gaming. And it's so saturated, gaming channels, you know, like Let's Play or game reviews or just watching people. It's so saturated. But maybe I could say, maybe for fun, maybe. I don't know. But thanks for the suggestion. I'll keep it into consideration. It would be fun. They search your bags? What the fuck? I thought they just search your bags for like booze, you know, like a crafty Australian bringing in some. What Australians drink? I know they don't drink Fosters. Every Australian I've ever met gets pissed off, and it's like, oh, do you drink Fosters? And I'm like, no! We don't drink that piece, or whatever. Australian government actually supported the event, investing $15 million into it. Dude, what the fuck? I feel like every live stream I do, it's always Australia doing some dumb shit. Like, what is with that country, dude? Like, it's crazy because I don't know, and some of you Australian guys can let me know. There always seems to be such a huge gap between the personalities of Australians that I meet. You know, because I live abroad, right? So I meet people from all over, Australia being one of them. And the way that their government is and the way that the people are seems so vastly different. Like, the Australian government does a lot of very similar things, like I said, to the Canadian government with things like censorship or hyper-liberal things or, you know, cutting deals with China that seems so lopsided or whatever. And then you meet an Australian who's like, I don't know, not like that at all. It's very odd. And I could be wrong on that. I'm just using my own anecdotal, evidence, my own experience with Australian people. Um, I wonder what's going on, If they search for booze, every stadium here would fold. Yeah, yeah. Australians do like their drinks. But I mean, so they're not searching your bag for booze. They're searching your bag for a fucking shirt that says Taiwan on it. Like, I bet you if I walked in to an Australian stadium with a fucking hunting knife, with fucking the crocodile Dundee's hunting knife, they'd be like, yeah, yeah, you're good, you know? But if the bag had like that knife and a shirt, they'd be like, get the fuck out of here. My Taiwanese in-laws are my Taiwanese in-laws associate Americans as being outdoorsy and adventurous, and it's only because the Americans they come across are the ones that make it all the way out to Taipei are that way. Really? It's Albo. I don't mind Albo. He's harmless. Is he your prime minister? Again, pardon my ignorance. Albanese? What the fuck is his name? It's not when it comes to China or Muslims. Yeah. It's not Albo. This has always been the way it's been. FIFA, Olympics, all supporting events. The guy's a coward. No way you'd go to jail. Nah. I'd be fine with a giant knife. That's not a knife. This is a knife. Yeah, exactly. Then I'd pull out a bigger one. Hey, Prozy, I don't believe that's bullshit. Taiwan shirts are not banned here in Australia. Yeah, I know. What's up, Steve Mack? I know. We talked about. I should change the title. That's not fair. I feel bad about that now. It's not. They're not. It's not the Australian government. It's. I think someone said it's FIFA or the Asian Women's Cup. That's banned these shirts, so you can't enter a stadium if you have a shirt that says Taiwan on it. So I know it's not a government. I'll change the title before this goes like public. I can't change it now, or maybe I can, but I don't think I can. I'll change the title. It's not really fair of me to write. I wasn't thinking when I wrote the title. I wasn't trying to clickbait, I promise. Both parties are really good if you're one of about 5 minors. Yeah, I don't know much about Australian I don't know who the I used to know a bit about Australian politics, as in like who's the prime minister, but then there was a president. I don't fucking even know that. Never mind. I never knew nothing about it. But I think I stopped paying attention when you guys had like 5 different leaders in like a year. Like you guys just kept voting in new people somehow. I don't know what the fuck. There was like a period of time where Australian politics was a goddamn mess. Anyways, I just found that story interesting. And I'm glad so many Australians are here because I wanted their opinion. I wanted to know what they think. Because I have a good friend. Initially, he was like a fan of my videos and he supported me on Patreon. And he would always, always, always give me super chats on live streams, just like a super supportive guy. Then eventually he came to Taiwan and visited me. His name was Dion. He's Australian. And at the time, he had cancer, like stage 3 or 4 cancer. He was not doing well, but he still came. His doctors told him he probably shouldn't be traveling, or like maybe it was kind of a wishy-washy thing. Excuse me. He came to visit Taiwan and had a great time. He loved Taiwan. He was interested in it. He always wanted to come see it. He came and visited me and Alan. He got this hotel. Alan and I took him out, showed him around town, ate some food, did some cool activities and stuff. And, we kept having to take him back to his hotel every couple hours to rest because, he's just, I think, in between cancer treatments or something. So he was really, it's fucking cancer. It sucks ass, dude. Like, he just couldn't be out for the whole day. He needed time to rest. And he was, like an avid photographer. Let me see if I can't grab it. It's stuck under my desk. Excuse me for a second. I want to show this. God damn it. And yeah, he made this book about his trip that he came because he was like a photographer and he took all kinds of different photos of Taiwan and stuff. stuff like that, which I think is pretty cool. And he was always he was an Australian who really supported Taiwan, like not in any like official capacity, but like he knew about Taiwan. And I just got fucking dust. Sorry, this has been in storage for a while, all over me. He knew about Taiwan, and every time he would meet Taiwanese people in Australia, he would like welcome them and ask them questions and all that kind of stuff. Just a really nice guy. He unfortunately passed away around last year from that cancer, which sucks. I miss him a lot. He was a cool dude. But he was not one of those Australians, if there are any, who was like super for censorship or you can't wear this, you can't wear that. He had a lot of issues with that kind of stuff. So be like Dion, So yeah, he was a cool dude. And what's really cool is like other people like him that were initially fans and then became friends, because like they come over, they visit. There are other people like that. My friend Betty, she's Canadian. She actually went to Australia to check on him before he passed. So it's kind of cool that like people who watch my videos that become friends like end up meeting each other and know each other, and then they become friends. I find that pretty cool. So yeah. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. Yeah, that's right. Sounds, yeah. Yeah, we always swing each election. Are you still mates with Seamilk and Winston? Yeah, of course. So many people are asking me about Seamilk and Winston every time. Yeah, I still talk to Seamilk all the time. He's into film photography lately. And Winston, I haven't spoken to a whole lot. Not for any particular reason. It's just I've always been closer with Seamilk than I have with Winston. So yeah. Anyways, that's that situation. Don't know if it's Australia's fault. I think blind shit. What was his? A blind guardian, something like a blind guardian said that the Australian government did support this organization with a $15 million investment. So maybe I guess the Australian government is somewhat to blame. But I think policies like this is bullshit. And that's what I have to say about that. Next story. This happened last month, or a couple of weeks ago, I think. It's a wild one. So Taiwan and Japan have a very, very good. I know we're going for a totally different story here, but bear with me. Taiwan and Japan have a pretty good relationship with one another. They're quite close. I think that Japan is the #1 travel destination for Taiwanese people. Taiwanese people love everything Japanese. They love anime. They love manga. They love Japanese music. They study the Japanese language just like for fun. They watch Japanese movies, TV shows, makeup products. They're there to see the cherry blossoms. Girls always go there and take pictures in like the traditional, dresses, all that. Taiwanese people absolutely love Japan, which is interesting because of like the colonial past, but they just don't have that same, like South Korea and China, they don't have the best relationship with Japan. A lot of those people fucking hate Japan. Not everybody, but it's a well-known thing because of their history. Taiwan is unique because it doesn't have that relationship with Japan. They don't seem to hold any animosity towards Japan because of the way that I guess Japan handled things. I don't know. I'm not Taiwanese. I'm not going to speak for them. I'm just showing you what I observed. And so, Japan sees a shitload of Taiwanese tourists, and they go to all the places. I'm going to show you this video. And so this is, I'm pretty sure, this is Shibuya Crossing, which is like, one of the most, whoops, sorry, let me switch the camera over. This is Shibuya Crossing, which is like one of the most popular areas of Japan. You've all seen the videos of like the fucking sea of people crossing the street. It's just like insane. And And yeah, let's just play the video. Hang on. Ugh. You see that? The fuck was that? So, yeah, Shibuya Crossing, people go there. Now, tourists come here and take photos all the time, and it's this mother and her daughter. I'm guessing it's the mother and daughter, that's what the subtitles say. And this little girl, they censor her face because she's a minor, obviously. Not the same kind of minor that... not the same kind of minor that, who said that was a caster? Yeah, not the same kind of minor that caster was a minor as in she's a child, so they blur her face. But I've seen the original one before it got blurred, like when this went viral. She's an adorable kid who's like super excited to be in Japan. They want to take a photo here. Now, I'm pretty sure I've taken photos at where the fuck is this? Shibuya Crossing. You just got to be careful with it because obviously people are crossing the street. They're coming home from work. They're going to work. They're going wherever. It's pop. You know, you don't want to be in anyone's way. But she's so fucking, look, she's hopping up and down. She's so excited to be there. She's adorable. She's going to take a photo. And this woman comes in a boom, just fucking nails her, which is like, what the fuck? And she's, the woman who bumps into her is Japanese. I felt so bad for this kid when I saw this. Like, what a bitch. And the other interesting thing, I can't remember who pointed this out to me. If you watch closely earlier in the video, she hits a different kid before she hits this one that we're actually looking at. So let's see if we can't see it. What is she wearing? Light blue? Yeah, she's... Well, she comes out of fucking nowhere. What the fuck? She's a ghost. I want to see if I can find it. Someone pointed this out to me. She hits another kid. Like, not as hard. I think it's... Okay, so... This girl in green is holding hands with another little girl, I think. Yeah, she hits her. Gotta go back a little bit further. So, this girl in green... I don't know how much you guys can see. I should make this bigger. But yeah, this girl in green is holding hands... hits her first and then hits this girl. What a fucking psycho. So initially hits the girl in the back and rails her. What the fuck, dude? If that was my daughter, well, I can't say I'd be throwing hands. I probably wouldn't, but I would definitely be having words. Is your mic clipped to a fly swatter? No, this is a rice scoop. I don't know how you call this thing. Just fucking bananas. When Prozy fled China, Seymour suggested Taiwan, and here we are. Exactly. That's exactly how things happened. They're still milking the China thing. They haven't lived there for years. They can still talk about it, right? I talk shit about North Korea. I've never been there. All the students I had in my time with Hess English go over to Japan during the summer. It's practically a pilgrimage. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There are a ton of Japanese in Taiwan too. So, hey, a lot of historical stuff mentions Japanese. And I can't read the rest of whatever that says. But yeah, there are a lot of Japanese people here. Yeah. Just shows there are assholes in all countries, for sure. I think that woman just has mental issues. She also hits the guy. She walks past to her left, our right. Okay, was it the guy then? Old aunties don't give a shit. No, but I think, like, you know, I think Japan has this, like, glaze over it. You know, it's got this sheen. It's got this, like, veneer, you know, of this paradise where everyone's polite and everyone's kind and everyone's patient and they bow and they fucking, you know, Japan's the best and it's so clean and look at their vending machines and all that. I've never lived in Japan, but that veneer, that shine that it has, that gleam, wears off real quick. And it's just like Steve Mack says, there's assholes in every country, you know. Batsukeri Otoko! Bumping men is the aggressive new thing from over-tourism like Barcelona. Is that actually a thing now? It's like a subculture where they just fucking bump into tourists? Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I heard something about that, but I didn't think it was like a widespread thing. But I think if you take part in that, like, you've got issues. Like, this woman probably has mental issues, or she's having a real fucking rough day. Because I don't know how much Japanese people are aware of just how much Taiwanese people love Japan. Like, I don't know if they, I don't think, I don't think Japanese people think about Japan. Sorry, I don't think Japanese people think about Taiwan as much as Taiwanese people think about Japan. And obviously there's no way for this fucking psychopath crazy woman to know where this little girl is from. She could be Chinese. But the Taiwanese people that I know are always, always, always very excited. My fucking Mac just crashed. Piece of shit computer, man. Sorry, I'm using my Mac just to keep an eye on my stream. And this fucking computer. When they meet in person, they're always very, very, very excited to talk to one another. And they're always very nice to each other, you know? It's just crazy. Castor Rabbit says, I love Japan, but South Korea resembles their stereotype more than they do. Yeah, I had a good time. I went to Korea fucking a long time ago, more than 10 years ago, and I had a good time. Phoenix says, yeah, it happens in Japan. Rare, but yes, it happens. Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing, right? You come to Taiwan, you're going to meet some people with mental issues. Well, you're not going to meet them. I hope you don't meet them. But there are people here who have issues, you know, like anywhere else. But I think that if a Taiwanese person went viral in the same situation as this, you would have so many people, so many Taiwanese people apologizing for it. So yeah. Vanessa says, spoke to a Japanese family that's here on holiday. They said that most Japanese people are just sick of the Chinese tourists. Yeah, I've heard the same thing. Like, you hear this talk of Japan being sick of tourists, and I think it's specifically Chinese tourists. I think, like, that's from what I've heard. And, you know, Taiwan and China speak the same language, so maybe this lady thought that little girl was Chinese and just fucking, you know, knocked her over. Oh my God, Lol says, it's like America and Canada relationship where one care about the other and the other don't acknowledge their existence. Are there still Chinese tourists? I don't see many in Tokyo anymore, only people that live here. Yeah, I mean, well, again, right, like China did that whole thing where they encouraged their citizens not to go to Japan because of the whole debacle with the Japanese Prime Minister, whatever the fuck her name is, Sine Takaichi, whatever the fuck her name is. She made a whole bunch of comments on Taiwan that pissed off China, and then the Chinese government said, okay, people shouldn't go to Japan. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know how many Chinese people are still going. I remember the Red House when talk about Japan and Taiwan. A lot of Japan-Taiwan history there. What Red House? Cass says, actually, Chinese tourists are thinning out here too. Yeah, good. Chinese tourists can be really, really annoying. I think if you don't live there, it's hard to understand them. You know, they just seem really, really rude. They seem really, well, because I suppose they are rude to us. You know, they seem very entitled. They seem very impatient. They don't seem to respect the way that things run in other countries. But when you go to China, excuse me, and you see the way that people are there, you kind of start to get it. I'm not trying to apologize for Chinese people. I'm just saying, like, I'm more used to rude ass Chinese behavior, I think, than most people because I spent so long living there. The way that I always frame it is that Chinese people tend to treat everywhere like home. They always feel at home. They always feel at ease in their environment. You know, they tend to make themselves at home, quite literally. And so when they're out traveling abroad, they don't. It's difficult to explain. Like when I'm traveling abroad, I'm a bit sheepish or I'm a bit careful. I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to be a dick. You know, even when I went to England, which isn't all that different from Canada. I mean, obviously there's big differences and stuff, but it's not that. We still speak the same language. Like I didn't want to, how would you say it? Like I didn't want to impose myself, or I didn't want to make it about me, or have this idea that like, oh, you guys are all here. All you English people are here to make my trip good. You know, it wasn't like that. I was a bit apologetic or careful, or I would ask permission before I did anything. Because I didn't want to, I'm a guest in their country. I don't want to fucking piss anyone off. I just want to, you know, I want to have a good time, and I obviously want people to like me. But Chinese people will not do that at all. They are there. It's their home too. They're having a good time. And that comes off as super rude to a lot of people. It comes off as super entitled. And if you've ever lived in China, you know what I'm talking about. Like, if you go to a Chinese restaurant, you see the way that they treat restaurant staff. It's like, you know, you would get kicked out of a restaurant so fast in the West if you treated them the same way that Chinese people do. Anyone in the service industry, right? In China, people working in the service industry are there to literally serve. They are there to act almost as a butler or as a second class to whoever it is that they're serving, right? The idea is that when you go to a restaurant, you're supposed to feel almost royal, right? These servers are below me. It's an act. It's like, it's just a way. It sounds really fucking weird and rude, and it is in our cultures. And I'm also not saying that all Chinese people are like this, by the way. There's going to be a lot of Chinese people, if they heard me say this, that would completely disagree with me. But those people are just lying. Because every single restaurant I've been to had both kinds of Chinese people, polite Chinese people, and also Chinese people that would treat staff like hot garbage, basically. So, you know, come on, England is different to Canada and Australia. They still have that class system vibe going on. Yeah, they do. That's the other thing. Like, they do have very clearly defined, you know, between like working class. They have different names for the different class systems, but they do. Obviously not in any legal capacity, but you often hear English people talk about their working class roots, or that person's like posh. You know, they definitely have a class system going on there. I get it, but it's also a stressful way to live if you have to be on all the time. Yeah. Are you talking about what I'm talking about? I feel like there's a different conversation happening in the comments than the one I'm actually having. I'm pretty sure they canceled flights to Japan at some point after they told the people not to go. I don't know if they canceled the... but didn't they cancel flights because there weren't enough people to fill the seats? If that was your station and every time you go there, people are standing in the road, it would grate after a while, especially after a Japanese work day. I don't think that that's any excuse to knock a little girl, hit her from behind, and knock her over. Like, kids are clumsy as shit. All it takes, dude, if you knock a kid over, all it takes is for her to hit her head on the concrete the wrong way. And I think the kid is fine, by the way, thank God. But it happens to adults too, right? You see pub fights, some guy gets punched in the face, he falls down, he hits his head on the concrete, and it's fucking over for that person. It happens all the time. And then the other guy gets done for manslaughter. you know, because it just happens. And it's like, you can't tell me that that was unintentional. Okay, yeah, I get it. People are in your way. It's annoying. You got to come home from work. You had a tough day. There's no fucking excuse to go knocking over little kids. That's fucking horse shit, dude. Um, like, that lady should have to answer for it, you know? I keep thinking about what I would do in that situation, because obviously it's not like I'm going to go push that lady back. But how do you stop her, right? Because she's on the fucking warpath. You follow her to try and get the police to know who she is? Do you, like, what do, you know? You know, I think about it from the lens of being like a teacher. Like, sometimes I have to take the kids out in public on field trips and stuff, and I have to make sure that they're okay, which is so fucking stressful because I've got, you know, my class, you know, maybe I'd have like 25 kids, and none of those 25 kids are my kids, obviously, right? I'm just their teacher, but it's my responsibility to make sure that none of them fucking die or get hurt when we're out in public, and that's so stressful. I remember this one time, we were doing a neighborhoods theme or something, and so I took the kids on a walk just around the block. We didn't leave the school. We didn't go very far. We just walked around the block, and we would look at the different businesses that were in the area and talk about them and what they did and if they'd ever been there, you know, that kind of thing. And right next to our school is this veterans hospital, and we were crossing the street. We had the green light. Crossing the street's fucking stressful with 25 kids because, you know, I think they were like 3 or 4 years old at the time. 3 and 4-year-olds don't have the greatest attention spans. Crossing the street gets boring for them after like 2 seconds. So there's gaps in the line. Some kids are kind of looking at the sky. Other kids are looking over there. But we still have a line, and the line is moving. We have the green light. And this old uncle was turning and didn't stop, and he picked a gap in the line and drove through it on the scooter. Dude, I almost beat that old man to death. But he was on a scooter, so he just drove away. I was freaking the fuck out. And I think it's hard for a lot of adults to contain their anger when they see like kids who are just excited to be there to take a photo get pushed over by some fucking bitch, let's be honest. So, Paul, I have to disagree with you, unfortunately. I think just having a bad day is no excuse to go and fucking hit a kid you don't even know. Not that even hitting a kid you do know is still not okay. Castro says, yeah, they're rude at home too. I think they were the rudest till I went to India. God. You know what's crazy is every Indian I've ever met has been the nicest fucking person ever. Ever. Like, so kind. So kind. And every single one of them tells me not to go to India. And now that I'm seeing like on Instagram Reels and stuff, like people traveling to India, it looks pretty bad. I'm not going to lie. I used to really want to go to India. I really wanted to try and ride it's called a Bullet 500, the Royal Enfield. It's made in India now. It used to be a British company. It might still be a British company, but they're made in India, and I really wanted to take one and ride it around India. But I've met multiple Indians now that are like, don't fucking go. So I don't want to go anymore. Depends what area of England you go to now. Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to catch up at the comments. Have a Chinese neighbor who's very sweet people. It's the tourists that are the problem. Well, Vanessa, yeah, you're right. But it's also, you know, it's people in China are just like that. It's just their culture. A red house at Ximending. Okay, so I got you. Sorry, I should have known that. You call the cops and file an assault report. Yeah, but like you have to go and find her. She's wearing a mask, right? The cops aren't going to be able to find her. Just wish for karma, I guess. I don't know though. Like if it was your daughter, do you just go, oh, I guess we wish for karma? Or do you like do something about it, you know? I just don't know. Like I'm not saying that's what you should do. I don't know what's the appropriate response. Because you can also get yourself in all kinds of trouble too if you go after this woman, you know, like she could countersue you for whatever. You don't want to put hands on her, obviously. You don't want to restrain her. You don't want to be like, hey, you got to stay here and wait for police, because then that gets you in all kinds of legal issues. So what do? You know? And they can never express their frustrations at work, so they just take it out on strangers. I guess. I don't know. It's inexcusable, but at the same time, keep the foot traffic flowing. Make sure your kids don't stop. Yeah, totally. Listen, I get that too, right? Like I said, this is a super busy tourist destination. Totally get it. I can see how that being annoying for the locals, but at the same time, like, fucking hell. It's not like she even stopped. Like, did I change the camera? I did, okay. Like, she didn't even really, she runs ahead. She's hopping backwards. She stops for 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds. And even in that 4 seconds, she's taking mini steps backwards. So she's not even really in the way. Like, look how much space this woman has to just walk around her. And she extends her arm out. Boom. Do you see that? The arm comes out. Super intense. Like, you don't have to fucking do that. Walk around. It's not the end of the world. Like, elbows up, stiff, just, and that's such a hard shove too. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Jesus Christ. Look at her. She's hopping backwards. She's still walking backwards. Still walking backwards. Still walking backwards. She's not really holding up. She didn't actually stop. She walked backwards the whole time. She's just not looking where she's going because she's trying to take a picture, obviously. You know? So, I mean, I don't really blame the tourist or this little girl for it. Like, yes, it's a crossing for people to get to and from work or to home, wherever the fuck they're going. But it is still a tourist destination. Like, there are people going there to take photos. Like, that's just a part of it. I don't think you can go to Shibuya Crossing and then get pissed off that people are taking pictures. Like, what did you expect? You know? Part of me feels like this woman had it in her head beforehand that she was going to do that, you know? Like, or maybe not. I guess it could have been one of those impulsive things. Derek Shrey says, Taiwanese scooter drivers are so incredibly narrow-sighted, it's actually nuts. True. Yeah. But I don't think that Taiwanese scooter drivers are trying to hit you, you know? Oh my God, Law says, India is the Wild West / East. Yeah, that's what I used to think about China. I rode at Enfield in India. They're heavy. Are they really? I always imagined them to be not very heavy because it's only, what is it? It's like a single cylinder 500cc engine, right? I figured they'd be very lightweight. I'd still love to try one. I don't think they'd be particularly fun bikes. I just like the idea that a lot of them are so old, you know, their carburetor and all that. When they break down, you can fix it with like a nothing. I've been there. I would never even slow down and be that tourist. I get you. I've been there too. And it is stressful crossing that street. I still don't think, you know, it's like you said, you've been there, you wouldn't slow down. I'm assuming your eyes are open, you know, and you're looking where you're going and you're very careful not to run into anyone. Right? Like, even the little girl who's not an adult is still trying to keep up with the flow of traffic. They're heavy as fuck. I fell down a lot. Hard to start sometimes too. Yeah, I imagine. I used to have a couple of carbureted bikes and they were always a bitch to start. I had a carbureted motorcycle. I live in Henan, China, which is in, I'll show you. It's in central China. It is here. This is Henan. And it snows here in the wintertime. Let me zoom out and see if you can see it a little bit better. That's Henan province. And, you know, but I still needed my motorcycle to get around. So, like, fall, spring, when it's still really cold, but not quite cold enough to snow. Starting a carbureted bike at, like, 1 degree Celsius, 0 degrees Celsius, damn near impossible. Henan, what a fucking place, man. Yeah, for me, China was the Wild West, Wild East, whatever. So much crazy stuff happened back then, you know. This is another thing that I've been thinking about, unrelated, and maybe I can get your guys' opinion on it because I might make a video about it. It's been on my mind. But on my last video, I was well, let's get rid of this North Korean propaganda. Let's put an old Prozy video up here, an old China one. Let's go with my insane commute to work. That's fun. Yeah, my last video was about me being bored. And I didn't have any topics. I didn't have anything to say. I didn't have any ideas. And it was because I was just sat at home, you know, playing video games, cleaning up my place, just chilling, you know, but I wasn't really doing anything. And so I wasn't feeling, sorry, my internet is falling apart right now. But anyways, I wasn't really doing anything. And so I was having a hard time thinking of ideas. And so I just kind of like went on a hike and filmed that and talked about my ideas of boredom and how now that I'm older, you know, going to a club or going to a party or going to, you know, doing stuff I used to do when I was younger. I mean, I never really went to clubs when I was younger, but like just doing stupid shit, you know, adventurous shit doesn't really excite me as much anymore. Not to say that adventures like don't excite me. Like I still love taking my motorcycle around Taiwan and stuff. I just don't like doing the shit I was doing when I was in my 20s in China. Like, for example, getting fucking blackout drunk and ending up somehow in a brothel in Henan, that place I just told you about, and trying to figure out what the fuck that situation was. Or falling off a mountain on my motorcycle, you know. Not that I really enjoyed falling off a mountain when I was 25, but now that I'm 35, like that stuff just isn't fun, you know. And so I had comments on that video, people being like, man, I miss your old videos. I miss the way you used to be. I miss the old Kanye, you know. They miss those kind of crazier videos where I would be like hanging out with a sex doll for Christmas or just doing stupid shit, you know? And I get it. Like, it's entertaining. It's fun to watch. It's interesting, and it's kind of cool to be 25 and drunk all the time and saying hilarious stuff and getting into all these ridiculous situations and living that adventurous life in a country that not many people get to see and all that, you know? But at the same time, I was like 25. And at 25, it's okay. It's kind of, people kind of expect you to do that kind of thing. But I'm 35 now. And it's not cool anymore, you know? It's just sad. And I don't know how to, I shouldn't say I don't know how to, but I'm trying to navigate this thing that I suppose doesn't even fucking matter. But it's like, I'm getting older. And so to a lot of people, that means I'm getting boring. But I don't think I'm getting boring. I think I'm just, what's interesting to me is changing, you know, and countless people, so many people. Fuck me, I was young. Look at that handsome guy. My face was so thin. Anytime I go out, because I still go out with my friends, they still drink, you know, which is fine. I don't care. Like I'll have like a non-alcoholic beer, or I'll have a Coke or something, and I'll hang out with them. And we'll be at a bar. And when we meet people and they're like, hey, where's your drink? And I'm like, oh, I'm not drinking. And they're like, why? And I'm like, I just don't drink anymore, you know? And I'm not preachy about it. I don't fucking like talking about it. They always ask me why, and I'll tell them, but I never, ever, ever want to feel like I'm putting them down for drinking. Or I don't want them to feel like I'm holier than thou, or like, oh, I'm not drinking. I fucking hate people that are like that. I'm still in the pub. I'm just having a Coke or like a non-alcoholic beer or something. It's not a big fucking deal. I don't, really like bringing it up, although it seems to come up a lot, and I'm bringing it up now, so fuck me, right? So many people, countless people are like, oh, boring. You know, like, oh, you're so, how are you having fun? Or like, how are you even here? Like, what are you even doing here? Like, what the fuck? So many people call me boring just because I don't drink. And I'm so confused by that. I don't get it. I mean, I kind of get it. Like when I was drinking, you'd be a little bit like suspicious of people who weren't drinking. But I would never think, I just don't know how to navigate that. Like now that I'm getting older and people are like commenting like, oh, you haven't watched you since China. It seems like you got boring or something. And it's like, what about being a 25-year-old fucking, I don't know, like loose cannon would be so cool at 35? You know? Downward spirals do make for good content. Yeah, I mean, I guess the part of the charm of my channel back then was that I was just like perpetually poor, perpetually crashing motorcycles, perpetually getting myself into trouble, you know, just stupid shit like that. And it is funny. I get it. And I am still perpetually poor. But I'm just not, I've become a better motorcycle rider. Oh, there's Miss Joe. And so I don't crash anymore. And I'm not fucking adopting my friends' pets anymore. But, you know, I suppose you're right. There was a charm to it, I guess. We're all boring. Everyone's boring. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think that now, I'll tell you what, like now that I've gotten older, the things that I find interesting, or things that I look up to, things I find to actually be interesting, this is going to sound so fucking lame, but my friends that have kids that are around my age doing big boy shit, doing man shit, taking care of their family shit, I find that endlessly interesting. And I don't know why. Like my buddy James in Japan, he's got 2 kids now, owns his own house, working his job, doing his thing, being a fucking man. I find that interesting. I don't know why. Like when I go to visit him and stuff, I find that stuff interesting, you know. When I see a young kid, you know, maybe not a young kid, but a kid in his 20s just like passed out on the street, or whatever, you know, like I don't look at that kid and think, you know, I don't look at him and think, oh, wow, cool. You know, I don't think, oh, wow, I wish I could be that guy. Or I suppose you could like think like, I wonder how the hell he got there, which is what makes the videos interesting, you know. Your liver will thank you later in life for backing off the booze. Yeah, I hope so. I'm pretty sure your liver can repair itself, right, over time. Is that a thing? When I think back to what I did on motorcycles in my 20s, scares the shit out of me. Yeah, I've had some really rough crashes. I own my home and have a kid. It's overrated. Yeah, man, I get it. It's not perfect, obviously, you know. But, like, you have to take some credit for being a fucking man, you know? Like, to have your own home and raising a kid, like, you're doing man shit. You're taking responsibility and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And there's something kind of cool about that, you know? And there has to be moments, maybe they're fleeting, but there has to be moments that you spend in your home or with your kid that you think it's kind of worth it, you know? But I also do get it. It's stressful as shit, right? Like affording mortgages and all that has to be hard. And, you know, I've worked with kids for a long, long time. I get it. It's not, obviously it's not the same as having your own kid, but I understand the stress. You're not boring, and some of us have been watching you for a while now. Just keep it up, mate. From my experience, the next downward spiral is always just a corner ride. Cheers, man. I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, who knows? You know, maybe I'll find myself in all kinds of trouble again. As we get older, we get more cautious and more wise. That's what I find anyway. Yeah, I suppose so. I don't know if you get more cautious. I just find that you know what you like more, right? Like when I was in my 20s, I would take my motorcycle and go somewhere and just be like, well, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if I'm going to like it or if I'm not going to like it. I'm just going to go and see what happens, you know? But now that I'm older and I know these situations more, I've been in more situations, excuse me, I'm more than likely to just be like, no, fuck that. I'm not doing that, you know? Because I know it's going to suck. After 30, at some point, you would just start liking bird watching. I saw someone post that meme on Instagram. You're too hard on yourself. I don't think so. I think it's better to be hard on yourself than to be full of yourself. I remember from a long, long time ago seeing Mike's video, I think he means C-Milk's video in China, and after a few years later saw you in the video, and they started a bike shop, and again, a few years later you arrived. Yeah. I bought a bunch of bikes from them at that shop. What makes it more embarrassing is when you've been trying to kickstart an Enfield for 10 minutes, and some old codger gets it off the ground and does it left-handed on the first kick. Yeah, fuck, I've been there before. Not with the same bike, but definitely like similar type of situation. I have never seen snow. Consider yourself lucky, Vanessa. Snow is the worst. It has its moments, but fuck me, growing up in a place that rains. Am I riding on the goddamn sidewalk right now? I'm riding the wrong way down the road on the sidewalk. That was China. And this was like completely fucking normal. Absolutely insane. Look how shit China was back then. I mean, I'm sure it still looks like this, but like everything. The thing is, it doesn't really look like shit per se, but everything you're looking at right now are incredibly, it's just all very low quality product, you know? Garbage forests, yeah. If I work in that area, I would just try to find a different route to commute every day and avoid that crossing. Or still talk about the Shibuya crossing, yeah. I'm traveling to Xinjiang in a week. Wish me luck. Why are you going to Xinjiang? Dude, I've got friends. I'm too scared of gutter oil to visit mainland China. I've only been to Hong Kong. Bicho is the ticket. I'm 26. I'm going to go to Xinjiang next week. I'm nervous that I'll get blackout drunk and probably not the wisest decision. Might be a cool mid-20s story, though. Here's my thing about going to Xinjiang. I have Taiwanese... So I was speaking to my Taiwanese friends about this just last night. Or not last night. 2 nights ago. They really like watching Chinese dramas because Taiwanese dramas apparently are boring. And I guess Chinese dramas are better. And a lot of these dramas are filmed in places like one of them was in Xinjiang, another one was in Yunnan, Guizhou, you know, these kind of sort of southwest Chinese, very beautiful places. And so they all want to go there now and travel there, even though their countries are mortal enemies. And they also said they wanted to go to Xinjiang, and that blows my mind. Here's the thing. Here's what I understand why you'd want to go. Number one, Xinjiang food is fucking incredible. It was some of my favorite food in all of China. Really, really good. Xinjiang people, super chill, super cool, friendly people. They're very different from, I shouldn't say very different, but they're a bit different from regular Chinese people. They look different, obviously. Other than that, why would you go and give your money to that government when you know what they do to the locals there? You know? Like, why? I don't understand. Now, I understand it's also impossible not to support China in some way, right? Like, every single thing we use is made in China. This microphone was made in China. Probably every single fucking electronic thing I have is probably made in China. So obviously you don't have a choice. But I just don't understand why you would give your tourism dollars to that government. It just doesn't make sense. I wouldn't be able to support it personally. Ditto, I remember first seeing you circle their bike shop area, yeah. I saw a guy in Chongqing digging up gutter oil. I asked him in Chinese whether it was for a hot pot, and he straight up admitted it was for me. That's pretty fucking gross. I wonder if China has changed dramatically. I haven't been there since 2011. I don't think it. I think it probably still looks like, you know, what you see in the video mostly, just with a shitload of new buildings, you know. Would never go to China or India. I would die. I booked a trip to Pyongyang Marathon in North Korea, but it was canceled. I still had my flight to Beijing, though, so I thought I'd go to the next closest edgy travel place. Again, why would you go to North Korea? Like, in a way, I suppose I can't speak because I did live in China, right? But again, I was young and dumb, and I didn't understand. I didn't know really much about China before I went. It was only as I got older and started to understand things a little bit better, the more I started to disagree with a lot of the things that are going on. But like all of those jets and ships and balloons and all that shit that flies around Taiwan all the time, you're paying for that, you know, even in some small way. Like those dollars are going into that jet, into that ship that's surrounding Taiwan and threatening Taiwan, my home now, where I live. You know, and that's just why I can't support it. But I hope you have fun, and I hope you're okay. I'm sure you'll meet a lot of really nice people. But I personally just don't. I can't agree with like just supporting it. But again, like I said, it's not really fair to say because anything you buy goes to China in some, you know, in some small way. Don't drink the tap water, though. There's heavy metals in it. Yeah, same in Taiwan. Don't drink the tap water. You know what's really fucking gross? I just yesterday took the my bathroom faucet tap has like a filter on it, you know, like a metal mesh filter. I think most faucets do, I think. I don't know. I took it off, and the amount of shit that was in that filter was fucking gross, dude. Tap water in Taiwan and in China is really not okay. Do not drink. Even, I'll tell you this other story. Even if you do drink regular, you're still probably going to get fucked if you're not used to it. When I first moved to China, when I lived in Henan, we were drinking water that we would boil in our kettles in the hotel room or just bottled water. And both me and my buddy, who I went to China with, got really, really sick. We both got dysentery. Not sure from what, whether it was the water or what have you. But anyways, one night I was feeling totally fine, went to sleep, didn't really have any issues. I woke up in the middle of the night feeling as thirsty as I have ever felt in my entire life. It felt like I haven't drank water in like a year. I've never felt, it was such a weird feeling. I felt so thirsty, I couldn't believe it. I was desperate for water. And I just so happened to never have it I didn't have it in my apartment at the time. And so I tried to boil some tap water, but my kettle broke. It just wasn't working. And I lived in a university campus because I was a teacher at the university there at the time. But you can't leave or come into the university past certain times. The gates are shut. It's like a gated university. Most universities in China are gated. And so you can't go to the store and you can't buy water. You're fucked, you know? So I went out to the hallway. We lived in this hotel. I don't know how to explain it. But anyways, we lived in this hotel. I went down to the hallway and knocked on my buddy's door. He woke up and I'm like, dude, I need water. So he gave me some of his bottled water. As soon as that water touched my lips, I threw up all over the goddamn hallway. It was awful. It hit me like a goddamn truck. And he also had dysentery, it turns out. We were fucking rough. I had to get a giant needle to get rid of it. It was horrible. It was fucking horrible. Yeah, stay away from the tap water. That's every water filter, though. They look disgusting when you change them, I think. Maybe. I know that a lot of water has a lot of calcium in it, so. Well, but yeah, but like you said, everything is made in China. Yeah, exactly. Um, but there is a lot of heavy metals in it, so even if you boil it, it's not a good idea. I get where you're coming from. I guess it's just as though totally distancing myself from a place because it does bad thing doesn't feel necessary. If no foreigners go there, they'll hate us more. Uh, what, so you're gonna go there to be like a representative of the West? You just said you don't want to get blackout drunk and make a mistake. What kind of representative are you gonna be? Um, the tap water is pretty good here. Tasmania, really? I've never met anyone who lives in Tasmania before. I thought the whole place was just like a jungle or some shit. Weed will do that. Yeah, I've never really gotten into weed. I'll be crossing the border from Xinjiang to Kazakhstan too, so at least there's some time to be in a neutral-ish country. Yeah, again, don't feel like I'm trying to criticize you all that. I'm not. I hope you have fun, man. I'm not trying to get on your case. Tassie water is excellent. Yeah, way better than WA. Oh, this is Australian shit. I don't. This is stuff I don't understand. I'm not Australian. I've never been. But yeah, I think we'll give this live stream like another, say, 20 minutes. If you guys have any questions or anything you want to know, let me know now before I go. Super chats would be much appreciated. It's the only way I make money. So just let me know if you have any questions before we... how long have I been going for? How long has the stream been up for? An hour and a half. That's not a bad... That's not a bad... Not a bad length for a stream. I have to plan out a video for this week. And then I was thinking, as a treat to treat myself for doing fuck all day, I was kind of thinking about getting Total War: The Three Kingdoms. That would be a cool game to stream. The Three Kingdoms. It's kind of related to me, right? Here's a few dollars for some water. Cheers. 2 Australian dollars. Thank you so much. It's very kind of you. I'll give that a love. Thank you. $2 for water. I will use this $2 to buy water when this bottle runs out, and I will think about the dysentery you've saved me from because of this $2. Okay, my asshole thanks you for this $2. My esophagus that I barfed out of 1,000 times that night in 2013, 13 fucking years ago, which is crazy. Well, thank you for that $2. That's very kind of you. Thank you. You are the first and only super chat so far. I really appreciate it. Should I drink the tap water in Welland? Welland, Ontario, you can drink river water, dude. You can drink... Welland, Ontario, you can drink... You can drink ditch water in Welland, Ontario. It's the greatest place on earth. Great catching up. Cheers, Steve. True, I'm probably just trying to morally justify it. I've sent money to Prozy before, though, so that's a good cause. Cheers, I appreciate you. By the way, you inspired me to move to Taichung. I'll be coming with Hess in August. Oh, nice, cool. Soon to be worth 0.001 cent. That's funny, yeah. Yeah, I better cash that 2 Australian dollars in before it turns into fucking, I don't know, like Congolese money or whatever. Yeah, I started with Hess in Taiwan. I did not enjoy working for Hess, but it's only because I don't like cram school settings. I find them sad. I find them... I just don't like the teaching setting, so I didn't enjoy it. You know what's hilarious about what we're watching right now? This is a very old video that I shot. You can so clearly see that I'm missing a knuckle. Like, look at my hand. I've got 1, 2, and then my ring finger. There's just no knuckle. And then my pinky knuckle. And it's still my knuckle, funny enough, still hasn't grown back. I'm just noticing now how much that has receded. It's also crazy to think how easy it was to get views back then. 51,000 views, And I had like 10,000 subscribers back then or something. Now I struggle to get 50,000 views because nobody gives a shit about Taiwan. You think you'll ever go back to Canada? I won't rule it out, but I don't see why I would go back. Like, I'm not. Also, is the mirror? My motorcycle's mirror is just gone. Like, I never bothered to take off the mirror like holder. It's just I crashed this bike so many times. The mirror blew off the holder, and I just never took the holder off. So what the fuck am I doing back then? That's so funny. I won't rule it out. I just don't know why I would go back. Like I don't. Again, I'm an early childhood educator by trade. If I went back home, I'd be making like 40,000 Canadian dollars a year tops. And $40,000 a year, I'm pretty sure puts you below the poverty line. So like, I don't know why I would really. Let me think. I don't really know why I would do that. And then I have a buddy who owns like a plumbing company. He offered me a job, but I don't really know how to plumb. Sure, I'd make good money, but like, why would I go back? You know? I love Canada. I feel super happy and grateful that I grew up there. You know, I grew up in a nice neighborhood, like a normal, lower class neighborhood, nothing fancy, but like we had parks and played outside all the time. It's like a normal Canadian, got to play hockey, normal Canadian upbringing. And I feel very lucky to grow up there. And there's elements to Canada that I really love. But as far as like living there day to day, I don't miss, minus 20-degree weather. You got to wake up really early because you got to shovel your driveway or else you won't get your car out. You got to wash the fucking snow off your car. You got to drive in those goddamn conditions. Then I'm going to go stop at Tim's to have fucking dog shit horrible coffee that's been sitting in a pot all day, all night. I just don't, for what, Like, I don't miss that, I just tried to donate, but it says error. Ah, shit, your credit card got denied. I actually don't know why. Maybe reload the page, I'm not sure. Prozy, do you remember getting conned dollars by that old lady you hit on your motorbike? Yeah, for sure. That's one of my earliest stories, but I'm gonna have to interrupt that because is this the same person or does it not show the names? Let me get it up on the old Mac here. Lucas Chuang, is that the same person? Oh, it was Vanessa that gave the $2 initially. Thank you. Sorry, on OBS it doesn't show your name. Sorry, that's my fault. Okay. Lucas Chuang, D2S gives, wow, 1,690 NT. God damn. That can buy me dinner for like 4 or 5 days. Longer, depending on what the dinner is. Thank you so much. It's very generous of you. I appreciate that. The rest of you, if you want to know how much that is in your dollars, you're going to have to figure it out. I don't know. You feel a difference before and after she, as a foreigner, used to staying in China? As a 30-year-old Taiwanese, I really think he pushes everything towards an awful direction and changed my perspective. Watching your video is like talking to an old friend. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's very nice of you. Thank you. I'm going to be able to eat this week. Do I see a difference in she? Yeah, I think so. When I first moved to China, he was still chairman. I think he had just become the chairman maybe a year before I got to China. And around that time, he was focusing on things like food waste. So China had this problem where people would order way too much food at restaurants and it would all go to waste. And it was a problem. And he would focus on things like that, like don't order too much or food recycling programs, things that are objectively good, credit where credit is due, or some anti-corruption things. or massive development in poor areas, or taking provinces like Guizhou or Yunnan, like we mentioned, and trying to develop them more, try to lift those people out of poverty. You know, not all great, not all good things, but like there were some good things. Credit where credit is due. Then he transitioned into trying to consolidate power. So before, you know, he was just chairman. But then he started eliminating political rivals or people that might stand in his way. And now he's not just chairman. He's fucking everything. You know, he's the head of the military. He's head of like whatever government agency you can name. He's at the top of it and runs the whole thing. And no one can challenge him now. Just recently, he fucking fired a whole bunch of top generals. It's all very secretive. I haven't looked into it too much because, again, I haven't lived there in a long time. So I don't, you know, I don't focus on it as much as I used to. And to now where he's just like straight up dictator, and he's really pushing a lot of these red line issues that China has further and further and further. So like things like the Taiwan conflict, the 9-dash line, bullying Philippines, Vietnam, really pushing their maritime boundaries outward. Yeah, I would say I see a difference for sure. I don't see someone who's necessarily focused on improving the daily lives of Chinese people so much anymore. And now I'm seeing someone who is trying to expand Chinese influence internationally and cracking down internally on people that could potentially challenge his power. So, you know, the Chinese are all over Africa. They own so many ports, or they lend so much money to these African countries. They'll build airports, they'll build military bases, they'll build, you know, whatever, knowing that these African countries have no way of paying them back. And so they default on all these loans, and then China goes, well, I guess I own it then. You know, so China owns a lot of Africa. They will build islands in the South China Sea like out of nothing and put military bases on them. You know, like these are the things he's focusing on now. So there is a big difference. Maybe because I'm using my phone. Oh, you're talking about the super chats? I'm not sure. I don't know. Don't worry about it too much. When I beg for money, I'm mostly kidding. I mean, I'm not kidding that I'm poor, but I'm not, you know, I'm not going to like, it's okay. Don't stress out about it. Probably need to try again. I did, about $50. Is it $50? That's a shitload of money, man. Lucas, thank you. God damn. Thank you so much. That's 50 USD. God damn. Dude, if I keep this up, I could be making like, it's been 2 hours. I could make $25 an hour doing live streaming. That's not half bad. YouTube cut is pretty big though, like 30%. Yeah, I don't get all of that. It sucks, but what are you going to do? I can't change YouTube's policies, right? And the other thing that sucks too, if just in case you're curious about like monetization and making money as a YouTuber, is like, because I live in Taiwan, advertising is much cheaper in Taiwan than it is in like, I don't know, Australia or Canada, you know, whatever other countries. And so how you get paid is like based on advertising rate. So if a Taiwanese person clicks on my video and they get shown a Taiwanese ad, well, that Taiwanese ad is worth a lot less than a Western ad. And so I get paid a lot less over here than I normally would if I lived in like Canada and had a full Canadian audience. Prozy, maybe buy a coffee link. They only take a very small percentage. Yeah, I mean, I used to do Patreon a lot. And that was pretty good. I don't know how popular Patreon still is, though. Twitch streaming. Nah, I think Twitch is really hard to get into. I don't know. I know you can stream on Twitch and YouTube at the same time, but I don't want to bother figuring that out. I didn't even make the minimum $100 from ad rev this month for the first time in years. Yeah, it's rough, man. Like, before I get that, Abe Lardoinak.
I'm not going to be able to pronounce that. I'm so sorry. 919 gives 20 SAR. Is that South African Rand? Is SAR South African Rand? Do I have that right? Well, anyways, thank you. Thank you so much. That's a super sticker, is it? Those are cool. But thank you so much. I really appreciate that. If you have a question, let me know. I'll keep an eye out for your name in the comments, and I'll answer it. India revenue is crap too. Yeah, I imagine it's a lot cheaper out there. I traveled with a YouTuber you've met, Asher. Does his channel go okay? I think so. I don't know. I haven't seen him in a long, long time. I'm not sure why. But he seems to be doing okay. I mean, he bought a house, didn't he, in Kaohsiung, so I imagine he's doing just fine. OnlyFans? Yeah. I'll show you guys pictures of my feet, see how many people are willing to pay for that. People are barely willing to pay for my videos. Can you imagine? It's like, what, 32-ish NT per dollar at the moment. Google just pay Taiwanese pennies, if anything. It's a Saudi rial. What the fuck is a Saudi rial? Whatever it is, thank you. I appreciate that. I've never been to the Middle East. I had a layover in like Dubai once when I went to England, but I've never... Is it fun? Like, do people go to Saudi Arabia? Is that a fun place? South African Rand is a good guess, right? I had the acronym is correct. What do people go there? I don't know. I really don't know anything. I don't know anything about the Middle East. The only thing I really know is like Lebanese shawarma is fucking amazing. Well, he's a Jew, so buying a house might not have anything to do with his channel. Hey, that's anti-Semitic. Yeah, I only really know some stuff about the food because it's so good. Like shakshuka, which I think is more of like a North African kind of a Turkish dish. It's really incredible. But the Middle East has never been somewhere I've thought about going to, you know? My ex-girlfriend is Korean, and she works as a flight attendant for Dubai, for Emirates. And she lived in Dubai for a long time, but I never went to go visit her because, well, we broke up. Is console gaming a big thing in Taiwan, especially physical games? I'm wondering because I'm a console peasant and I would love to move there. Yeah, you can do it. I wouldn't say it's big, but you can definitely do it. I think PC games and mobile games, like phone games, are much, 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 much more popular in Taiwan than consoles. Not very many of my Taiwanese friends have an Xbox or a PlayStation. Switch, I think, is pretty popular. But you can buy games, yeah, anywhere. You'll be fine. Saudi Arabia has opened up more than it used to. For a while, it was pretty closed off. I prefer Bahrain, like Oman and Jordan too. Oh, cool. Console gaming is huge in Taiwan. Is it? None of my friends seem to have a console. Most of my Taiwanese friends have PCs. I remember console gaming when I lived in China was fucking banned. I had a games dealer I had to go buy. Me and Simok had this guy who had this shop in Shenzhen. And I had a PS4 back then. So anytime I wanted to buy a PS4 game, I had to fucking go to Shenzhen and meet up with my PS4 game dealer to go buy one. So stupid. I've just moved to Taiwan from Scotland. Any advice getting over the culture shock? No. Listen, I've lived here so long, I don't even really see the culture differences that much anymore. Like, I don't think Taiwanese people are as different to Western people as Japanese people are to Western people or as Chinese people are to Western people. Taiwanese people are not that weird. They're not, or different. Like, Yeah, there are differences, but I don't think that they're going to say anything or do anything that would make you go, ugh, or like, I didn't expect that, or you know what I mean? Like, and they're so multicultural, and that not multicultural, I shouldn't say that. They have a very good, compared to other Asian countries, global view. So they understand a bit more about the world than, say, Chinese people do. So I would say, provided you're a well-adjusted, level-headed, regular dude who's cool and can talk to people, just be chill. You know, I think you'd have to be a little bit more specific about what kind of culture shock you're trying to get over. I could see you having a bigger issue with culture shock when it comes to work-related issues, because I think that's more where it comes into play. But day to day, I don't know. Games dealers, yeah, man, because they were banned. Like, console gaming was just banned in China, so I couldn't buy video games. Like, there was no, you know, they didn't have like a video game console, video game console. You couldn't buy games like a regular store. I'd imagine there are more console games in Taiwan than China. I barely saw any in China aside from some Switch stuff. I spent most time in Dongbei though, so that might be why. Oh yeah, definitely console gaming is way more popular in Taiwan than it is in China for sure, because it was banned in China for so long. And Dongbei is fucking awesome, by the way. Dongbei food's amazing. Vanessa says, my kids have PC and consoles. They drive me crazy. Why? It's a hobby. It's fun. Yeah, PC game is biggest with adults, and PC gaming is huge, but the video game stores are packed in Taipei. Kids play a lot of console. Yeah, but I think it's mostly Switch. Like, I think the Nintendo Switch is more popular than Xbox and PS, like PlayStation in Taiwan. I could be wrong. It's just, I'm just from what I've seen. Okay, here's one. Now that you've essentially gotten your shit together as a person, well, I wouldn't go that far. Fucking baby steps, Caster. Would you ever consider returning to China for YouTube? No, I wouldn't. They have offered me money to go there to promote a province, or they might want to, or promote a event that they're holding in some place. But no, I'm never going back. I live in Taiwan. This is my home. Politically, I support Taiwan's right to exist as a country. I know, edgy thing to say, right? I'm so brave. I'm such a brave boy. Pat me on the back in the comments, okay, for my bravery. Thank me for my service. And I can't agree with China politically, and I don't want to go there and associate with them in that way. As much as I miss my Chinese friends and as much as I love them, I don't want to go back there. And also, I don't feel like getting arrested at the border, so there's that. Xbox is not popular in East Asia, PlayStation and Nintendo, yeah. Exactly, they might not let me leave, and I'm not going to take that risk. Like, will I get arrested? Probably not. I think I'd probably be fine, but am I going to fucking take that risk? Nope. There's a retro cafe near Baymen Station. I think it's called BBB Retro, if memory serves. Yeah, didn't Marco take me to a retro cafe somewhere? Or like a game, where the fuck were we? Like a bar that had games? I don't remember if it was him or if even that's what it was. I'm going to visit Taiwan the 2nd around mid... The 2nd, or is it your second time? Around mid this year. Any tips on nice places to visit in the south like Tainan and Kaohsiung? Yeah, it depends on what you want. I think Qijing Island in Kaohsiung's pretty cool. They have a sunset bar there. You can have some cocktails. The food's not that great, but it's all about the views and the vibes at that place. It's pretty cool. It's called Qijing Sunset Bar. I always like that place. Anywhere in Kaohsiung is always a good time. I think the Kaohsiung government the last couple of years has done a great job at kind of giving Kaohsiung a facelift and making it a pretty fun place to go. Tainan's cool. A lot of good food in Tainan. A lot of traditional streets. So walking around there is pretty cool. Southern Taiwan. Time for a Google Map session. The mountains are pretty cool, very beautiful. If you want to see some subcultures, like a lot of Hakka Hakka culture, there's a lot of that in, what the fuck's it called? Mainong? I am blanking on where Mainong is on a map, or even if that's what it's called. But it's cool as hell. I got my buddy George up in Maolin. Maolin's really beautiful if you can find a way up there. Maolin's super beautiful. A lot of really cool waterfalls and trails and mountains. Well, really, let's see if we can find some pictures of Maolin. Really beautiful up here. Yeah, like trails like this, you know, like at least there's stairs to walk on. Super pretty, man. I go to this place if I have a car, though. I don't know. I'm sure you could get there by like a bus, but I'm not totally confident on that. You're going to have to do your research if you do want to go. Really good camping. A lot of really cool. My buddy George has a couple of campgrounds up there. Great camping if you're into that. So Maolin's cool. If you're going to be in the southern coast, like Tainan Kaohsiung area, it's well worth it to hop over to Taidong, maybe even Hualien. Super beautiful over there. If not, I don't know. A lot of people are going to tell you to go to Kending. I think Kending is too expensive and overrated. But if you're into beaches, I guess that's really your only choice, because most of Taiwan does not have beaches that are good for swimming. Yes, it's an island. Yes, it's tropical. No, the beach culture is not very good. It's kind of shit. Yeah, I don't know. Jai is boring as fuck. Don't go there. Someone's going to disagree with me in the comments. That's fine, but it's boring. Yunlin's boring as hell. I make fun of it all the time. Yeah, if you're sticking around Tainan Kaohsiung, it's a good choice. I think Xiaoliuqiu is cool. This island off the coast, you can get a ferry out here. I wouldn't spend too much time out here because it's small. But there's a couple of restaurants. A friend of mine owns a bar here. It's okay, you know. Maybe go for the day, 2 days tops, I would say. It's all right. I hope you weren't thinking of. I hope you weren't hoping for something too specific. But like I've always taken the approach that Taiwan's a fantastic place to live. It's so comfortable. It's so easy. It's so convenient. It's so affordable. I'm so comfortable here. Not the greatest place to visit, in my opinion. Of course, they're gonna people will disagree with me, but I think other countries within this area geographically are better set up for tourism than Taiwan is. I am not discouraging you from coming, and I don't want to. I don't want you to listen to what I'm saying and feel like, oh, I don't want to go anymore. I'm sure you'll have a great time. Pingdong is great too. Yeah, Pingdong's kind of cool. Depends on the area. Mainong has that really long fireworks festival coming up. I'm not sure. I totally support Taiwan. Nice, Steve. Steve knows what's up. Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, it was called Continue. It closed down. Oh, it closed down. That place was cool. I remember we played Mario Kart there, and I beat your ass out of dog. Tainan is criminally underrated. Tainan's cool as shit, dude. Tainan's cool as fuck. I go with a local if you can, dude. I went with Glory with a couple of my friends. Well, they were originally fans, and now they're my friends. Again, I got a lot of those people. A lot of people watch my videos, come to Taiwan and visit me, and we become friends. Marco's one of them as well. And me and Glory took them on a food tour. Well, I should say Glory took them on a food tour. I was there with a camera filming it because Glory knows all the hot spots for eating. Man, that food. Some of that food's so good. Risk versus outcome. Still pissed off about Continue's closure. That sucks. Foguanshan if you want to see a big ass Buddha. Yeah. Is it safe to visit Jinmen Island? Thanks for the tips. I love Taiwan and your Taiwan videos. Cheers, man. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for that super chat. You're the only second person to give me a super chat, so you're my favorite person. So for my second favorite, no, you gave the most for super chats. So you're my most favoriteest commenter. Jinmen's totally safe. Jinmen's totally fine. You'll have no problems there. I've never been myself. I do want to go. Seems pretty cool. A lot of military history up there. If you are going to go to an island, a lot of people recommend Green Island. I've never been there either. I should go, really. But what I think is underrated, I went to Matsu Islands, or Liangchan is their Chinese name. And where the fuck is it? Up here. Really close to China, just like Jinmen is. Super fucking cool. There's two main islands. There's North Island and South Island. And they have so much cool ass military history. I shot a couple of videos on Matsu Island, so you can go watch them. I had a great time here. I found it so, but that's just my thing. I find that kind of thing super cool, super interesting. And yeah, there's hiking and stuff. The food's pretty unique. It was cool as hell. But I'm sure Jinmen's fun too. But the thing I've heard about Jinmen is also like go for a day or two. I've heard there's not like that much to do. But it is safe. Don't worry about that. Taiwan looks a lot like Hong Kong. Do you mean physically? Because I don't really think so. Go Qijing upon full moon. There's usually having a party. Daytime before the party, you can have a hike and take the ferry would be an easy way if you don't have a motorbike. Yeah, it's super easy to get to. You can just take the ferry across, super cheap. And the ferries are like constant. Depends on what you want to do, of course. If you like mountain climbing, then you'll have a blast. Yeah, for sure. I should say that as like a caveat or whatever. Outdoor activities in Taiwan are like the best. I live in Tainan, so I'm completely biased to the city. Yeah, it's a great place. I don't know if I could ever live there, but I always have a good time visiting. I really enjoyed Pinglin. Where the fuck is Pinglin? Personally, but that's up the north. If you like tea. I'm not much of a tea connoisseur. I mean, like, I'll have a milk tea or a red tea from time to time or a green tea, but I'm not like, I don't have like a tea set or whatever. I don't really know much about it. I went to Penghu for a week. I heavily recommend it during the summer. Yeah. Penghu. Have I been there? I feel like I've been there, but I don't fucking remember. Have I been to Penghu? I should do a thing where I go to all the islands. You know what other video I was thinking about doing, but I kind of really don't want to fucking do? I was thinking about doing a huandao. If you don't know what a huandao is, it in Chinese just means a trip around the island. On my motorcycle without a phone. Not necessarily without a phone, but I've got that Honda Rebel 500 and I've only taken it to Taipei and it sucked. I fucking hate it. It's so uncomfortable. Oh my God, it was miserable. My ass hurt, my butt, everything hurt. It was the worst. So I haven't really taken it anywhere long distances since then because it's such an uncomfortable motorcycle for long distances anyways. And I recently changed my phone plan from an unlimited plan to a 6 gigabyte plan temporarily. And then I thought, well, fuck, now I can't do a huandao because I won't have Google Maps because I've only got 6 gigabytes of data. But then I thought, well, what an interesting video to try and get around Taiwan without any internet. But I don't know if anyone would find that interesting. Mostly because most people don't know a goddamn thing about Taiwan, so I don't know if they would really want to watch that video. Not Hong Kong Islands, like the new territories. Okay. I don't know that I spent a lot of time in Hong Kong because I used to live so close to it. Like I lived in Huizhou, which is here. Am I still sharing my screen? Okay, good. I was about to look like an idiot. I live in Huizhou. It's like an hour or two away from Hong Kong, so I spent a lot of time there, but not enough to know like what it looks like nowadays. I've met a lot of Hong Kong people lately who said that Hong Kong's changed a lot. A lot of businesses have shut down. Like, it's just not the same place it was since it got turned over to China, which is really sad. I used to love Macau so much. I thought seriously about moving to Macau. I really liked Macau. I thought it was a really cool place. We used to drive there all the time. We would drive through Guangzhou, through Zhongshan. My buddy Beard used to live in Zhongshan, and then down into through Zhuhai to Macau. Actually, Miss Zhou, my Chinese friend, who's been in a bunch of my videos, lives in Zhuhai now. She's a teacher there. And one time, a long time ago, I was just looking at my old passport and I had a visa for Vietnam because me, Sea Milk, drove from Huizhou to Zhongshan to pick up, or maybe it was Jiangmen, I can't remember where he lived, to pick up our buddy Beard. Then we drove all the way down past Beihai. Yep, I remember Beihai. What a weird place. All the way down into Vietnam. So we were in Mong Tai or whatever the fuck. I think we were here. And yeah, we were here in northern Vietnam. It was such a weird fucking experience driving to Vietnam from China. Such a weird experience. We didn't film anything. Like, there's almost no record of us ever going, which is a shame because it was such a weird trip. Do it. Getting lost is interesting. Yeah, for sure. It's just I'm not really looking forward to paying. Like, I have to think about what that trip would cost me, and I don't think I could recoup that cost with the views I would get on those videos. You know, hotels in Taiwan are not cheap for what you get. You know, like, say it's 2,000 a night for a hotel, and probably more depending if it's a weekend, if it's a big city. And I'd have to stay in a lot of places because I don't, you know, riding that motorcycle long distance sucks. So I don't know. We'll have to see. I climbed Fengzilin Mountain recently. You can do quite a lot with that Mega City monthly pass. Yeah. Been to Hong Kong a few times, liked it, but also haven't returned since the takeover. Yeah, same. Hong Kong's a weird place, you know, because it's like, it's one of those cities where it changes so drastically depending on whether or not you have money or not. It's an entirely different city if you go there poor versus if you go there with your rich friend. You need more sponsorships. I'll even watch Surfshark bit. Sure, but they don't contact me, so I don't get them. I just got to the dirt cheapest hostel I could find. Yeah, that used to be fun. I don't really like staying in hostels anymore. How could it be possible to get lost in Taiwan? Everyone will try their best to help you. Well, I think that's what would make the video so interesting. I think that's what would make the video so good, is that I would constantly have to stop and ask people how to get to certain areas, you know? And then that provides a lot of natural interaction with Taiwanese people. I think that's what would make it so fun. But also, I've done a Huandao of Taiwan. Like, I finished it, and there's just not really much I really want to see. You know, you'd be stopping in a lot of places where it'd be I don't know how interesting it would be, you know? Like, I like Taidong. It's beautiful, but there's not much, like, I don't know what the fuck I would do there, you know? Sleeping bag, one-man tent. Yeah, that could work. I would do that, like, solo camping. That would be cool. I don't know if I'd want to do it around the whole goddamn island. Live stream the Huandao. Yeah, but Marco, I just said I won't have unlimited data, so I would live stream like 5 minutes and then my data would run out. Face it, you want clicks, you must pay in pain. Yeah, that's a good point. People want to see, but then again, it's not even pain. I just don't want the video to end up like I go to Taidong, check into my hotel, and then I'm just like, because I'm so fucking, I'd be like, well, what the fuck do I do now? You know, like, there's nothing. What, you know, like, it would just be boring, and that's not pain. That's just not being a good YouTuber. I suppose I'd have to plan it more. It's just the speed will be downgraded after reaching 6 gigabytes. Internet will still be working. No, it's gone. I had this chat with the people at the store. That's once you use up to 6 gigs, it's done. They cut you off completely. But even so, if the internet still works, it's just really slow. I wouldn't be able to live stream it. That would be cool as hell, though. If I could live stream it, who knows? I don't know. But that's the thing about Taiwan, you know, it's so small. After a couple of years, you kind of find that you do everything. But then again, that's just my shitty attitude is the problem. Like people like Ku's Dream, he still finds interesting stuff to do around Taiwan. So it's obviously a me problem. But yeah. Anyways, that's been a 2-hour live stream. Unlimited data plan is $1,000 for prepay plan. Yeah, I guess if I could prepay it, that could work. There's some random things you can do and you find you're just bumming around. Ran into a small zoo with capybaras. Yeah, I've been to all those too. But anyways, yeah, that was a 2-hour stream. That was fun. I should do it longer, really. It's not like I'm fucking doing anything. I was thinking about downloading the Three Kingdoms. It's a Total War game. I kind of wanted to try it. It looks pretty cool because I loved Shogun 2. And I was thinking about playing that tonight, but then I feel guilty because I did fuck all today except for this live stream. At least I made 52 Canadian dollars. So that's worth it. Thank you for those super chats. Thank you for your support. Thanks for joining the live stream. It means a lot. It's really fun. Hopefully I can do more. I know it's a random Tuesday. Is it Tuesday today? God damn it. Tomorrow I will put my head down and get to work and make sure I have a video for you guys for the weekend. You did great, mate. I'll tune in more often. Sweet, man. Cheers. Appreciate it. I shall see you again next time. Oh, it's like 70 Canadian dollars? God damn. So I made like 72 Canadian dollars today. I did well.